Good evening, everybody. Just wanted to do a quick sound check. Can everybody hear me? If you can, please just type yes in the chat for me. We'll get started in a few minutes. Okay, great. I'm glad I can see it. Just so everybody knows, there is a slight delay from the time that I say something from when you guys get to respond. So if there's a little bit of dead air anytime tonight, it's probably because I'm reading a question inside of the question area and just taking a second to actually have technology kind of pass it across to get to you guys. So with that being said, this is Brian, and I hope everybody is having an absolutely amazing day. I've actually been working on the courses I'm going to talk about this evening pretty much all day today, so I'm super excited to talk about it. I'll say before we get started, if I'm talking a little bit quick, it's just because I'm pretty hyped up about this whole thing. This is something that I've been trading for a while, and in talking with Jack and Eric, they for the most part were kind of begging me to say, "Come on, Brian, get this out, get this out. We want to share this with our students." So it's something that I put together, and I'm happy to share. And we actually have some great results from a trade that this group actually took last night. So with that being said, I will kind of jump into things here. Before we start, obviously because we're going to talk about money, we got to have a few different risk disclosures or disclaimers that I need to go through. Um, First one is no representation is being made that the use of this strategy or any strategy or trading methodology in general will generate profits. The biggest reason for that is, just because I trade something a certain way and am profitable with it does not guarantee that you will. You have a different, you most likely will see things differently, react to them differently, handle them differently. I mean, we're different people. So it's just important to know that, there's risk in trading. Nothing out there is guaranteed inside of the markets. Anything can happen at any time. With that being said, only risk capital that you could stand to lose. Don't trade with money that you can't afford to lose, meaning don't use your rent money, don't use your grocery money for the week. It should always be additional income. Um, with that being said, the past performance of any trading strategy methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. That's something you guys have probably heard in the past once or twice. Anytime you've walked into a bank, you've probably read it. But these are pretty much standard disclosure, so I'm sure that you guys have all seen them once or twice in the past. All right, so let me cover a quick agenda. I want to kind of go through and give you guys a summary of what we're going to talk about this evening. I actually did this webinar on Saturday and went a little bit long, but that's okay. It was the first run through, so this time I think will be a little bit smoother. And I kind of moved some things around and actually added one little bit for you guys. But the first one is I want to go over is who benefits from this type of trading. Now, let me give you a little bit of background about myself and why I created this methodology and this strategy. So I've been in the markets for, God, almost 20 years at this point. And when I first traded, started trading in the markets, I had some of the components I needed to become a good trader, but I didn't have all of them. I had all the time I needed in the world because I didn't have kids, I didn't have a mortgage, I had a job, but I had a lot of flexibility. But the problems back then was I didn't necessarily have enough money to trade, and I really didn't have a whole lot of education. I mean, when you're in your 20s, I mean, how much do you really understand about the markets? I mean, I didn't have a degree in college in trading, or I didn't. My mom and dad were not floor traders, so I didn't have those kinds of things. So I'm going to talk about who benefits from the trading and understand that for a person like me now, where I have 7-year-old twin boys, this is the perfect thing for me because I'm constantly running between soccer practice or coaching lacrosse. I have my own hobbies as well. I do a lot of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and it's hard to have time and find time to trade. I need about 26 hours in the day. If anybody can, if anybody can, sympathize with me or has the same situation, go ahead and put a yes inside of the chat because I'm sure many people in here have the same situations. We need a couple extra hours. I'm going to cover what conditions that this can be traded in. I'm going to talk about why Nadex and why we're trading with it. Some people may or may not know what Nadex is. Uh, I'll say, year or 2 years ago, I would hear Nadex commercials and literally I'd be like, I have no idea what that even is. And I worked for actually one of the big education companies out there in trading and didn't know a thing about it. Um, After we kind of cover that real fast, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain what I call our lunchtime trader. Lunchtime trading, I'm going to give you as many rules as I can tonight. And like I said, it's unfortunate we don't have about 8 hours to go through this all, but I'm going to give you as many rules as I can so you can kind of understand it. It's something that's very, very popular. If you have a smartphone, and I'm sure pretty much everybody in here does, it's something that you can literally log on at lunch and trade on your smartphone if you wanted to. If you're one of those people that does have a lunch hour or lunch half hour, go ahead and write how long you actually have for lunch every day or what you have planned for lunch every day so I know who the strategy can actually benefit. After that, I'm going to review what's called a news trade. They are actually by far my favorite trades. And in fact, tonight with our alerts, I'm actually going to be sending out a news trade for tomorrow morning. I'm also going to review what the overnight trend trader is. And actually, the last night that's the trade we sent out with our Nadex alerts was actually an overnight trend trade last night. It turned out to be amazing. So I'll go through that with you guys as well. So who is this class for? And actually, I'll cover who's it for and who is it not for. This class is for people who work full time and can't log in during normal work hours. It used to be, my parents, they used to work a 9 to 5 job. And then somehow my generation, it suddenly switched to, an 8 to 6 job. And that's not including the hour or 2 hours of commuting we do every morning. And life gets much, much harder. And, I've met a lot of people over the years that would love to trade, but they just can't find time to educate themselves and learn how to start doing it. And unfortunately, with trading, it's kind of one of those things where if you don't get educated, you're going to pay the hard way. Yes, actually, Mike, they started last night. This is for people who want to trade before you go to bed. So one of my mentors, I learned a ton of information from, and he's actually helped me a lot in my career. He used to trade for 30 minutes a day total. And what he would do is he would wake up in the morning and spend about 15 minutes on the charts, go about his day, and then he did most of his analysis about 15 minutes before he went to bed. And that was it, 30 minutes a day. And when I first met him and he told me the story, I was like, there's no way. But the more and more I started to train under him and mentor under him, the more I learned that that's really where the best opportunities and setups happen from. When you understand how the markets move, there's not really a lot of surprises involved with it. And what I found was some of my best analysis actually happened at night. So that's where I learned how to trade. So if you're one of these people that would love to log on for 15, 20, 30 minutes before you go to bed, set a trade so you wake up in the morning green, this is absolutely for you. This is also for new people that are scared of losing money. One of the reasons I chose to combine this with Nadex, particularly with Jack and Eric's students, is because there's too many people out there these days, throwing money at the markets expecting that it's going to be a lottery ticket, and it's not. If you're scared of losing money, I've been in the same shoes that you have as well, because when I first started, I didn't have a lot of capital and I didn't want to throw it away. And when you're learning something new, the last thing that you want to do is sit there and just throw money at something that you're not educated in. So for me, the only way to actually learn was going to kind of get in there and go into the markets. So this strategy I've designed to keep things low risk with low amounts of money. So there's not a reason why any person couldn't trade it. Unfortunately, for companies I've worked in the past, unless you have $15,000, $20,000, they just can't help you. And unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of people out there with just 15, 20, 30, $40,000 of disposable income. They just had sitting around doing nothing. I know I don't with 2 6-year-olds. They seem to spend it as quick as I can make it. Another thing is this is for people who want to make money during the lunch break. I kind of covered that before. I mean, if you think about it, think about if you have an hour lunch. I scroll through. We got people with a half hour, a couple people with an hour, Lorenzo hour, Boris 30 minutes. Think about it. If you can log on and trade for 15, 20 minutes, set up a trade, and 20 minutes later you've made $50, and you do that 3, 4 times a week, that's an extra $200 a week. That's an extra $800 a month. I mean, what would you do with an extra $800 or $1,000 a week? Spending 20 minutes a day trading at lunch. I'm sure you guys can think of a lot of different things, but it helps out a whole lot of people. All right. Now, the other one is this class is basically designed for people with tablets and smartphones. This does not require 3 hours worth of analysis on a computer. Okay. It doesn't require you to be sitting, to be a full-time day trader. There are people out there that love to do that. There are people that love analysis that want to sit there 8, 10, 12 hours in front of a computer all day. This is not necessarily for you. If you would like to use this strategy to create additional income to add to your profits, then yes, it's definitely for you. But it's not something that it's designed to be spending 6, 8, 10 hours. I mean, if you have a full-time job right now, those are the people that I want to help. I want you guys to start trading, making money, and becoming financially free with this. All right. So as I mentioned before, this is who it's for. Who is it not for? Like I said, people that want to spend 12 hours a day. If that's you, then this is not for you. It's kind of move on to something else. All right. So there are 3 different types of market conditions that we need to focus on by becoming a 30-minute trader. Okay, we trade all of them slightly differently, and they happen all the time. The first one is trending markets. There's a nice little picture diagram here. You can see it. The market is basically trending. It's moving slow. It's ticking down. It goes up a little bit, ticks back down again, and it stays inside of those markets. And this is about 70% of the time things are in a trending market. Now, when we have a trending market, those trades are typically best taken before work or nighttime. Okay, so if you're planning on trading before you go to work or before you go to bed, learning the trending market strategy is probably going to be a good one for you. Now, the sideways ranging market is probably the most frustrating of anything for a trader. Why? Because traders typically make money when the markets are moving, right? I mean, the only people out there that can make money when the markets don't move are options traders. Typically because they're doing calendars or something like that. And some of the spreads I'm about to teach you guys. But I'll tell you right now, if you're a brand new to trading, the first thing I say, okay, tell me what you know about trading, and you're going to tell me buy low, sell high. Well, buying low and selling low doesn't make any money, and buying high and selling high doesn't make any money. Okay, sideways markets are frustrating. Most people would say, hey, you know what? The market's not doing anything. It's not tradable. Let's just do something else today. All right. Well, when you need to trade and pay your bills, you need to learn how to make money. So we actually have a strategy for this as well that's included in the 30-minute trader that covers lunchtime as well as overnight. Sometimes, guys, overnight nothing happens at all. Okay. And most traders are like, oh, not volatile enough. I'm not trading. Most of my profits, I'd say, are typically overnight trades where I wake up and I'm looking at green. Now, the news release breakouts, you can see in this picture, literally the market is flat, and then all of a sudden it rockets upward. Why? Because there was some type of news release, probably an unexpected news release. What's great about those is it's fast movement. You get paid very, very fast. I love these. These are by far my favorite trades. They get your heart beating as you're waiting and watching that clock tick down for the news release. They happen 24 hours a day. That's one of the greatest things about news trades. There's the most opportunities, especially in a global economy. All right. So based off when you would like to trade or when you think you would trade, you can kind of get an idea right now what would be first or most important for you to learn. Just keep that kind of in the back of your brain as we kind of go through this presentation. So why did I use Nadex to do this? And why do we believe in it? Well, first off, Nadex lets you trade everything from one single account. You can trade stock indices, you can trade futures, you can trade forex, you can trade economic events. I mean, when I first started, I was in stocks, and then I tried to bounce over to options. Then I had to get a separate account. And then when I wanted to start trading currencies, I had to open up a currencies account. And then when I went to futures, then I had to open up a futures account, and I had to pay exchange fees. You don't have to worry about any of that if you're trading Nadex. Nadex, you can trade every single one of them. You can do gold, you can do the S&P 500, you can play the Japanese market or the DAX, the German market. You can play oil and natural gas and soybeans, or I can do the euro dollar or the regular dollar. I mean, it's amazing how much stuff you can do with Nadex, and the entry point is absolutely amazing. The other reason why Nadex is designated is a designated exchange, right? But then they're CFT regulated, and it sounds kind of like a lot of mumbo jumbo. But let me help you understand something here. Being CFTC regulated is something that not every market in the world has. The largest market in the world, the currencies market, is not CFTC regulated. Nadex is, and it's designated as an exchange. Why is that important to you? Well, very simply, Nadex makes all their money in exchange fees, not from taking positions in the market. Nadex does not engage in any trading whatsoever. Okay, all they do is they match buyers with sellers. Why is that good? You guys ever heard the saying that big guys or market makers are running stops to take people's money? Well, guess what? Nadex doesn't care. All they are is matchmakers. Okay, so it's not like we ever have to watch out for ourselves because Nadex is stepping in. The other aspect of Nadex binaries that I like is the fact that you know your maximum potential and your loss, or the profit potential and profit loss. I'm sorry, maximum loss going into the trade. It's basically like having a stop loss on every single order, and there's absolutely no way to forget it. Um, a lot of people in the world that think they know about trading are like, well, I'll just use a stop loss and then I'm protected. Well, you realize that the market can shut down, it cannot trade. Your stop loss can get gap passed. One of the most frustrating things is when you have a stop loss in and you can only lose X number of dollars. And next thing you know, some crazy news event happens. And what happens? The price gap's way beyond, way well past your stop loss. And a stop loss isn't a guarantee. All it is a trigger to send your next order. Okay. You could plan on losing 100, but then end up losing 500 because it jumped right past it. So it's pretty important. And with Nadex binaries, everything is based off $100. So your maximum loss and profit going into every single trade. So it's one of those things. It helps lower the stress level, absolutely, without a doubt. And that's good, especially when you're learning something new. The other thing is you can open up with a $250 minimum opening balance. So again, it basically makes it affordable for everybody to get involved. I mean, there are some currency firms that will take less than that, but $250 is a good amount. It's a nice amount of money that you'll respect it, you'll care about it, but yet you still have some actually really decent earning potential with it. Okay, so let's talk about the lunchtime trader. And if you guys don't have your notepads and pencils out, please get them out now. This is best suited for, I'd say, typically lunchtime trading, but also overnight trading when you don't expect a lot of move. The biggest thing that you want to watch out for is news. news can mess up lunchtime trading or overnight trading very, very fast. Typically, when there's no news going on or it's during the lunchtime hours, all the banks and institutions, the big boys in the market, they're not there. They're not trading. I'll kind of show you where, how we can determine that they're not there. But those are the things we want to kind of look out for. Now, what do you need to trade this? You can use your PC, sure. I mean, Nadex just uses as a regular browser. There's no software, so you should be able to trade it from anywhere. But if you have a smartphone or tablet with you, you can literally just open up your smartphone, go downstairs or go to Starbucks and get some coffee or have your lunch and sit there and start trading this methodology. Okay, it's very, very simple to do. Um, and perfect during those time periods. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I need to teach you where this strategy came from. Now, this may be a little bit advanced. I may lose some people, but don't worry. This is not what we're trading. This is where it came from. It's kind of just a history lesson, but it'll help you understand it a little bit more. So in the options market, there's something which is called a long call butterfly. Basically, what traders are trying to do is attempt to make money when the price of the stock or whatever the option is based on does not move whatsoever. Okay. What they do is they capture their maximum profit potential right where the strike price is. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see my mouse. Where is it? I can't see it. There you go. Okay. Do me a favor and type yes in there if you can see my mouse. See under long butterfly, it's kind of going in a circle right now. If you can see that, I want you to type yes real quick for me. There is where the maximum potential in a long butterfly is. Now, the way they make it is on the left-hand side, you can say you buy one in the money call, you sell two at the monies, and then you buy one out of the money. And again, it seems very, very complicated, and it kind of is. With options, there's a lot of moving pieces, and it's really the most difficult asset class to learn how to trade. But you can see why the potential of this would be good. I mean, if you have a stock that just doesn't move, this is a great strategy, and you know what your maximum risk is going into it right off the bat. Why? Because you're buying things. Okay. Now, a lot of people don't like having this one point right here, right? This one point's like, well, my maximum profit potential is very, very tiny. And then I start losing very, very quickly as the price moves up or down. So what happens is then they created something called a long condor. And this is the same idea. It's a limited risk, non-directional option trading strategy. And what it's meant to do is the same thing. It's meant to get you paid when the stock price doesn't move very much. As you can see with this price here, right? So see this top section right here? If the price stays between $45 and $50, you are making your maximum profit on this trade. As it starts dropping from 45 to 50, you start to lose your profits. And in fact, somewhere in between 45 and 50 is where your break even point is. And when it goes down to 40, you're at your maximum loss. It doesn't matter if it goes all the way to zero, you don't lose anymore. And on the flip side, same thing. When we get to 50, we are at a maximum profit. When it goes down to the 55 area, you're starting to lose that profit. Why? Because you're paying for the other side. Okay. Now, when the price drops to 55, you have now at your maximum loss again. If it goes to $1 million, you still only lose this amount of money. Okay. So again, overall risk wise, it looks pretty good. Again, it's meant for low volatility situations. You don't want the stock price jumping all over the place. So again, it sounds like a great situation. Okay. Can anybody else hear me? Art says that he lost sound, and I just want to see. If you can hear me still, please type in, I can hear you. And this is that delay. Let's see if you guys can hear me real quick. Okay, good. So it must be Art. All right, good. Thank you guys. I appreciate that one. So it must be Art. Not sure. Art must have lost connection there. All right. So with that being said, now that you guys are with me, hopefully you guys aren't too confused with this. I was trying not to go, like I said, too crazy into options. I don't want to go into how I build them, but I want you guys to understand the risk and why people will take them. And again, you can see it. I mean, think about it. If you're at lunch and there's nobody trading and the price is just moving up and down just a little tiny bit, do you guys see how this would be a great strategy? I mean, come on, you got this window here. You can make some money real quick. Not bad, right? So what we did is I combine this with Nadex. Okay, and what I do is I'm calling this a Nadex butterfly. Okay, I didn't create the word butterfly; it was used in the industry already, and I just combined it with Nadex because that's what I call it. What it does is it combines and takes the risk curve from not only the butterfly but also the iron condor and combines them together. Now let me explain it. Okay, a little bit differently. So basically, if the price stays now, again, you'll notice. See how these are straight up and down now? They're not at an angle anymore. The reason why is because with Nadex binaries, it's all or nothing. You either make 100 or you lose 100. Okay, that's how it works out in a strike price. All right. When I say make 100, lose 100, I mean it's the contract's based off of $100. So if you bought it for $30 and it's profitable, it goes one penny over your strike price, you make $70, okay, off the trade. And vice versa. If you sold something and say you sold it for 70, you can only make $30 profit in that trade. Okay, so everything is based off $100. So with that being said, what we're doing is we're selling a strike price above. Okay, now by selling it above, that means it's in the money, right? Which means as long as it closes below, you make money. We are also buying a strike price on the bottom side. And by buying it below where current price is, that is also in the money. So it's like buying two in the money options, right? And what it does is it creates this green buffer smack dead in the middle. Okay. Now, as long as price stays between these two strike prices, and if you notice the numbers here, you'll notice Nadex binaries will say 244.0, or I'm sorry, it'll say greater than 2440, right? This one would say greater than 2444, which would be 0.01. That's why the O1 is over here. I'm not kind of, not trying to be funny. But basically, what happens is as long as you stay within this range, you make your maximum profit. If it goes below just a penny, you lose. Okay. Now, ideally, we want to keep this 50-50, a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And again, we want to set it up under high probability time periods because once again, it is 50-50. You basically will make 50 or lose 50, although there is advanced entries to get you out of this. Okay. Now, these are kind of some pointers as well as a chart I wanted to show you with actual numbers. Okay, as I mentioned before, you're selling a strike above the underlying price and buying one below. The goal is to keep it ideally at 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Again, risking 50 to make 50. Although you can actually sweeten it up a little bit and actually get yourself out if you actually have the time to watch it. And if you're trading a 20-minute binary, you can sit there and watch it for 20 minutes and get it. You want to make sure it's in declining volume. And why do you want to do that? Well, you want to make sure that there's nobody actually out there trading against you. The less people in the market, the less people will move that thing around. They're all eating lunch. And that's why we want to take advantage of that time period. And we also want to make sure there's no upcoming news. I mean, literally the worst thing you could do is try to trade this strategy when there's news and have the thing jump all over the place just because of the volatility, because of, the worry of what could happen with the news. All right. So with that being said, here's just kind of one example. And again, I wanted to show you about the volume. So look in this chart on the right-hand side. Okay. In this case, if we were selling this 2444 for 75, it means that we can make potentially 25 if it stays here. Okay, stays below that. If we are buying this 2440 right here, we can make, it's basically in the money right now. As long as it stays above this, we make our $25 here. Now, what happens if it goes below or above? Well, guess what? You're going to lose on one of these two sides, but the opposite side is making you money, correct? Absolutely, because it's above or below. There's absolutely no way the price can be above and below at the same exact time. And that's where we come up with the 50-50, 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Now, I do have it at the bottom. There are ways to exit these things at 1-to-2 or even better. I have caught those, and a lot of that has to do with pricing as well as volatility during the time period. But the biggest thing I want to make sure that you guys understand is you really want to make sure that you have declining volume. So I've drawn in this red line here. This is just the trend line that's standard, okay? You'll notice volume kind of comes down and then boom, here it flatlines, right? It stays flat for a while and then starts to take back off again. These are my signs of when to place these trades. And you'll see this flatlining typically happens between 11:45 and 2:15. Now, sometimes at 1:30, sometimes even 2 o'clock, there's a news release. So you got to kind of watch the backside of these. But literally, when it flatlines is when you want to make sure that you're placing these trades. Okay. Now, guidelines to trading butterflies, they're typically best used with 20-minute binaries or 2-hour butterflies. As I said, you can do them overnight, but you got to be very careful to make sure there's no European news, because one of the big warning signs is, you could place something on one of the U.S. indices, but if Europe moves pretty quickly, there's no, U.S. big institutional banks to kind of hold price where they are. So there tends to be quite a lot of movement overnight. Here's a situation where there was an 11 a.m. one, and I was able to get kind of a very kind of I would say it's a pretty good spread in my eyes. Look, you're paying 76, which is slightly higher, which is okay. And over here, you're selling for the the 23. So it is possible to find those two sides. It happens pretty often. You just got to kind of look for it. Now, in this case, whether this is a good one or was it a bad one? Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, during the lunchtime hours, that example we gave you back here, this kind of description, you have a kind of a 4-point range here, right? And some people, I mean, 4 points is actually kind of, it's not a bad move, right? But during lunch, it's really not that big whatsoever. In this case, here's an example of the same 4 point move. Okay, and you're able to find those prices left and right. So those are the guidelines for these. And again, there's a lot more to this. Like I said, I would need a couple of hours to be able to explain them fully, but I want you guys to grasp the concept and the understanding of, really how you can use these butterflies during periods of time where the price is just not going to move. Um, Particularly when someone's extremely frustrated because it's not moving and they just say, you know what, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home until the markets move again. That's when you want to step in and start trading these. Yes, Roy. Everything in the slide presentation is based off of Eastern time. I live in Maryland, so I always deal with Eastern Standard Time. Pretty much anything trading wise will always be Eastern time because of New York. All right. So here's an example of one of the Nadex butterflies that I threw on. Now this one I did get a little creative with it. You'll notice in this one I sold two different strike prices above because I couldn't get the price I wanted, and I sold one below. So was my risk more on this trade? Yeah, it absolutely was, but I was watching it. Someone in the last webinar was like, wow, you took a lot of risk on that one. Well, I did, but I didn't. I mean, yeah, I guess if it exploded through the top or exploded through the bottom, yes, I would have taken more risk, but here's the thing. Because I was watching it, look at the volume here. I mean, if you look at this green bar right here at the bottom, I mean, the volume had just disappeared completely. It was just gone. The other thing about this one is you'll notice at the bottom, I entered this trade at 12:16. There was only 4 minutes left in this binary spread. So that's why I put two contracts on the top side instead of just one. And again, these are things that, well, you learn more inside of the trading of how to tweak things and when you can start changing things around. And you'll notice I got in for 12.19. So again, about my, little bit, about 30 on the top side, right? And I got my two full payouts because it literally stayed inside of this range. And this is actually over here where the trade occurred. But not too bad, right? Think about it. So I spent 4 minutes. I probably spent a minute and a half, 2 minutes of analysis. I really liked the trade. I saw the entry. There was absolutely no news. And I got in at 12:16, and by 12:20 I was out. I made $50 on that one trade. Um, you know, threw those three contracts on, and I was able to make it pretty quickly. And like I said, you do this 2, 3 times a week. You can even do it 4 times a week. Make 150, 200 bucks every single week. It's not bad working. Making 50 bucks in 4 minutes. So if you like this kind of trading, go ahead and say yes or I like it inside of the chat, so I know I haven't lost you guys. I'm going to read your question real quick just to make sure I see this here. Miles, good question. Miles, because basically, yeah, you're losing 3 times the amount of money on one side, right? But you are making it on one side. So you're basically getting $100 payout and you're losing 75. So you make 25 minus the 75 equals 50. So these trades are 1-to-1 risk to reward ratios. You're either making 50 or losing 50. But there are some advanced entries that I don't have time to go over in this webinar that could get you out at a break-even trade. So these trades can cost you absolutely nothing. Make sense? These trades, is this for futures? Steve, it's for anything. I do it a lot of times in currencies, but you can do it in currencies. You can do it in oil. You can do it in natural gas. But a lot of times I found the easiest prey is typically on the indexes. You can do it on any of them, really. I mean, there's days that the Dow is just dead. I mean, you want to kind of look to see who's flatlined the most. I mean, somebody who's not very active for the day and their volume dries up at lunchtime. I mean, this was an ES chart, but you could do it on YM. I mean, you could do it on any of them that you wanted to, really. I'd say they're all basically even and equivalent. A lot of people don't like the Russell because that will kind of move a little bit more. But in actuality, you can do the same thing. You can trade the Japanese market with this strategy as well as the German market. They also have lunchtime. Yep, Steve, gold works as well. I don't trade it as often on gold, but you absolutely could. All right. So here's another situation. Now, this one I did not break the rules at all. This was a very simple standard entry. I took the screenshot at the right time so that way it wasn't afterwards. This one, same thing. I mean, I got 30 on one side and 75 on the other. So in this case, I made more than my 50-50, right? I ended up making $54.20. This one I did get in right around when the binary popped. This was literally right after the last one. Actually, it was a little bit later on a different day. But again, 20 minutes, $54. You'll notice, I mean, very simple. I have the same exact piece. Market had flatlined. Market collapsed. I mean, literally, it started to collapse back in here, but I was waiting for it to really kind of start getting flat. Had this area started to level out, I would have probably got in sooner. I would have done maybe the 12 o'clocks, but literally flatlined, down. I like the money. I like getting 30 instead of 25, and the 75 met what I was looking for. Another 20 minutes, so yeah, you'd be up $100 at lunchtime. Okay. What type of chart do you use to enter / monitor the 5-minute or 15-minute? I typically use the 5 minutes, Ron. At lunchtime, 15-minute candles are too long, and I find that the 1 minutes are kind of like, you're like, oh my god, that's a huge move, and it's moved like 2 pennies. It's not a whole lot. Miles, would you trade multiple indices or just one? Honestly, Miles, like I said, I'm busy. I do a lot of different things. I'll look at all of them. If any of you guys are students of other classes that we have here, Eric teaches an excellent course on divergence, and he actually has a heads-up display where he has the 4 different indices up there. It's very easy for me to look at that and literally pinpoint which one I'm going to trade fastest. Like I said, it's all about making this as fast as possible. So, like I said, if you guys don't have Eric's divergence class, message in the chat and Eric will message you and give you information on it. He gave us some great tools that I use all the time to be able to trade this methodology. All right. So, no, again, great little trade, 20 minutes, $54. And I'm just doing one contract, guys. I don't need to kind of, do crazy things with it. This is a trade I want to show you guys. And, you know, as I mentioned before in the disclaimers, not every strategy is going to work 100% of the time. So I actually want to share with you guys. I don't want to just show you all the winners because that's what everybody does. I'm actually going to show you a trade that I followed all the rules, but yet it turned against me and I ended up losing on it. It's very simple. So this was actually a butterfly that the way I found it was I was logging on Sunday night before bed to check, to see if there was any opportunities for me to trade overnight before the morning session on Monday. Because again, remember Sunday night is Monday morning in Japan and Australia. So when I logged into the Nadex platform at 6 p.m. on on Sunday, I got a pop-up message, okay? That pop-up message looked like this and says, hey, because of Japan's holiday schedule, which I didn't even know Japan had a holiday schedule, they were closing a day early, so there was only actually 4 days of trading. So you know what I did? I hopped over to my news sources. I looked to see what type of news there was going to be during the week, and then I pulled up the Nikkei chart. That's what NKD is. And I looked at this and I was like, my God, this thing has been flatlined for a month and a half with inside of this range. I wonder what kind of strikes I could get on this thing. And in looking at strikes, I actually found a couple different strikes that I liked, right? So what I did was I ended up finding and I sold the weekly option, which again was 4 days. I typically use 2 hour, 20 minutes, but the range that I was able to get was huge. It was a 200-point range, okay? I was like, wait a second. This thing hasn't moved this much in a month and a half. It's going between the top and the bottom. It's channeling sideways. They have a holiday. There's nobody trading it. There's no big news for the entire week. I couldn't find a reason not to take this trade. The volume was low because of the holiday week. I mean, everything was there. I was talking to Eric and Jack. I'm like, why would I not take this? I talk me out of this one, guys, because I don't typically do weekly trades. And they're like, we can't find anything either. I mean, again, everything made sense. The profit goal would have got me $60 on this one inside of a 50-point range. When I placed the trade, you guys will see right here, see where it goes from red to yellow. That's where I saw this trade and I placed it. And we went Monday, we went Tuesday, we went Thursday, we actually got the Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night. And that's where it kind of turned bad for me. So I was happy. I was really, really excited. And this is how the trade ended up. This teal mark right here is literally, that's where the news happened. Actually, the news happened right here. I had 1 day to go, okay? This was the whole North Korea, Trump going back and forth about the missile thing. Now, is there any way to predict that we're suddenly going to start shooting missiles all over the place at each other? No, it's a geopolitical event. Those things happen. There's no way to plan for them. Is it a bad thing that it went against me? Absolutely not. Did I lose any money on the trade? Nope. You know why? Because there's secret ways to get out of this thing when the price started to crash down again. So I actually did take a very, very tiny loss on this one. It wasn't very, very big. I think I ended up losing like $12 or $13 per strike. But I just wanted to point this one out to you guys that while the trading and the rules were good, it ended up not working. In worst case scenario, I lost $40 on the trade. $50. So at the end of the day, it didn't work. Oh well, boo-hoo. I move on to the next one. But it was one of those things that it met all the rules, and even though it was slightly different, it was a weekly, it was worth taking because of the profit potential that I saw in it. So again, really, really liked it. Hey, I trade Nadex. I was warning about liquidity. I haven't had issues whatsoever with liquidity in there. They do a pretty good job of that one. I haven't been affected by liquidity once, particularly with this, especially on spreads. So guys, you can see this one again. I didn't win on it, but I want you guys to know it was a great trade setup. How did I find it? I logged on. Literally, it popped in my face. It met all my requirements. Boom. It didn't take me, 6 hours to analyze charts. I didn't have to draw things all over the charts. I didn't have to be good on computers. I literally found an opportunity. I went. It met my simple, easy rules. I got into it. I knew my maximum risk. Every day I looked at it, I was like, I'm still good. I mean, look at it. It literally flatlined for the entire week, and I'm like, yep, I'm golden until Wednesday night, and then obviously and you'll notice even after the news happened, what did it do? It flatlined yet again and stayed in that same area. So had this spike not happened, where do you think it would have ended up? Right here, right here. So again, the Nadex butterfly is a very powerful strategy to go in, get some money real quick, and get out. In this case, it was a little bit longer, but like I said, lunchtime trading, this is an amazing strategy for that. Now, let's talk about news trading. This is my absolute favorite. I'm just going to do it very, very fast. How losing 3 times? Miles, is very simple because you're not losing. Miles, if you have one that's in the money on one side and one of them that's in the money on the other side, and the price skyrockets up and you lose one, what did the other one do? It won, correct? So you will lose 75 in one direction, but you just made 25 because of the other one. Minus, take your 25 from the 75, you equal 50. No math, thanks. And that's how you get your 50-50. But like I said, Miles, you don't have to take a $50 loss on each one. You could actually lower that down to almost zero. So you almost risk nothing on those things. So let's talk about news because I don't want to get too far behind. News trading is my favorite. And what are the two outcomes in news? It either comes back expected, where there's like little movement, the price is already factored in, or it's unexpected and you have a huge move. And when do these happen? 24 hours a day. But the biggest news times are typically 4:30 a.m. Eastern because that's London open, London news time. Between 8 and 10 is when most U.S. news is. 2 o'clock in the afternoon is when you have the afternoon news in the U.S., the like FOMC, those kinds of things. And then 9:30 at night. What kind of news comes out at 9:30 p.m. Eastern? Type it into the chat for a bonus question if you guys can figure that one out. But again, that's a time that I trade a lot of that news. All right. Pretty good time to do it as well. Now, news trading, this is the opposite of the last thing. Okay. The lunchtime trader, as I call it, you want no volatility. You want no news. During news time, obviously, you have to have news, but we want a heck of a lot of volatility. Absolutely. You guys are all getting, yep, Asian session, Tokyo. Yep, absolutely, Mike. Yes. All right, you guys know what you're talking about. So, great news trading opportunities because I'd say less than half the time the expected forecast is what actually happens in news. Sometimes the price will just skyrocket and jump even when the news is expected. They can tell us we are going to raise interest rates tomorrow, right? And the market tries to price things in. When they actually raise interest rates, what happens? The market jumps. They just told you it was going to happen, yet people were surprised. Well, guess what? There's a ton of money to be made doing this. Oil inventories, FOMC notes, non-farm payroll, natural gas inventories, interest rates. I mean, there's like 15 to 20 of these things every single week. If you look at the bottom, August 10th on natural gas, it was an amazing trade. I mean, this sucker moved, what was it, like 11 cents, right? You're thinking, oh, that's 11 cents, really? Look at these two trades. I mean, a spread, I pulled $84 off of one of the spreads in there. The other one I ended up, making a full 100, but I think that was an out of the money. I was up like, I think 5 or 6 strike prices on that one. I think it cost me like $22 or something to get into that one. I mean, making $80 on a trade and then 84 on a spread in a matter of, I think this is, let's see. Here, we'll count it here. This is a 5-minute chart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In 7 bars, 35 minutes, I made $84 on the spread contract because, again, that one is is closely associated with the underlying asset. The other one, I waited till the end of the day, and literally it came up, it flatlined, and it died like right here. And I ended up making the full profit on that one. As you guys can see, I was at the 92 spread, 2.92, and the expiration value, or I'm sorry, I got into that one, and it expired all the way up here at 299. Okay, there was so much room on this one. I'm letting this one expire in the full money. Very simple, very fast setup, very easy, and a lot of it had to do with actually reading it. Mike, they can actually be both. Inside of the actual news trading course, I am covering both of them. A lot of it depends on the prices we can receive as well as where the spreads are painted. Some people like spreads more. The nice thing about spreads are you can get out at any time, and you're getting more value out of it, particularly when it's in the middle. Where binaries, to get the maximum value, you got to wait till expiration. And again, I'll give you guys kind of advanced money management to that one. Can you make more than 10K a day with this strategy? Diego, sure. I mean, if you have the account size to trade enough contracts, sure. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, Jack made 70 grand the other day or 58,000 with binaries, and then on gold in a day he made 18. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely possible. You just have the account size to have enough contracts. Got to have a big enough account to be able to do it. All right. Now, when forecasting is wrong, I mean, literally, here's the natural gas one on the left-hand side. On the right one, it was the same thing. It was a Canadian GDP, and you think Canadian GDP? Who cares about that? It's Canada, you know? Well, in 15 minutes, this thing dropped 100 pips. And if you guys know anything about currencies, 100 pips is a pretty big move in currencies. Okay? There's definitely money to be made with that. You could have taken this in the spot currency market, but you could have taken it with Nadex with a whole lot less money, with a whole lot less leverage, and a whole lot, a whole lot less risk on the line. And in trading, what's the biggest thing you want to do? You want to take as least amount of risk as possible. Okay, you could have got contracts in this news release for, I don't know, probably $10, $15 risk maximum, making 75, 85 in the opposite direction in 15 minutes. It's a heck of a move. It's a lot of money to be made there, guys. You just got to understand the actual news setups for things. Okay, so the overnight trend trader. Okay, this is the third one of them. Like I said, I was only going to review news and I was only going to review the overnight trading. I want to make sure that I kind of keep you guys on time tonight. This is designed for people that want to trade after work. Okay, there are trends that happen all day long, and you can technically place these during the day. But what I find is these are best suited for at night. You place them between 6 and 10 p.m. They're low risk because obviously there's no U.S. news. There's typically no institutional traders. It's just their algorithm computers fighting back and forth. Okay, but markets are moving 24 hours a day. Now, if you look on the right-hand side, okay, in this chart, again, if you see my mouse in the middle right here, this red line, this is going from 6:11 p.m. Eastern time till 9:25 a.m. Okay, basically this is overnight before the market opens. This thing moved 12.75 points. Is there money to be made when all of us are sleeping? What do you think? Yes or no? I mean, who's moving this market? But if it's moving 12 points in a day, is that bigger than some days? Absolutely. Okay. There's money to be made overnight, particularly if you can catch these trends. Okay. Now, here's an example of an overnight trade. And actually, this is multiple days. Okay. Every single one of these red lines goes from 6 p.m. again, because that's when the Nadex market opens. Okay. Actually, I guess it's from 5 when the market's closed and the date paints the next one. We had a drop of 19.6. We had a drop of 38. We had a drop of 53. We had an increase of 23. We had an increase over here of 38.4. Okay. Increase of 269, 268. So is there money to be made when people are sleeping? Absolutely. Okay. Um, in this case, a lot of times you take a 25 pip risk. I'm sorry, 25 tick risk. Now these are not futures ticks. These are ticks in this market. Okay, they're pennies going up and down. All right, looking for 3 to 1s. In this case, again, using spreads, and the reason we're talking about ticks and risking 25 to make 75 is because of the spreads here. Literally, we bought one contract, bought the 5900, sold it to 5907. That was from here to here. Okay, this was done at what, 9 p.m. Okay, so basically from 6 to 9, this trade happened. Took $75 out of the market by setting one overnight trend trading stretch. Actually, it was really kind of a night. It wasn't an overnight, the situation. But again, everybody loves 3 to 1s. Okay, you only need to be right 26% of the time to make money with these suckers. All right. That's why I'm a very big believer in these overnight trades, taking very, very small risks to make some nice little profit. And again, I'm just showing one contract. Had I traded 5 or 6, or say I traded 10 contracts. If I traded 10 contracts on this, again, these are spreads, but 10 contracts at $25 risk each contract, because again, I bought them a little bit out of the money. How much am I risking? I'm risking $250, right? And if I had 10 contracts, how much did I make? I just made $750 overnight, actually for 3 hours. Okay. So again, very powerful to be able to snag these things overnight. Okay. Now, here's actually an overnight trend trade. This is a little bit busy of a slide, but stick with me on this one. We actually, because we just released these things, we actually have a new alert service that's going with it. This is the alert that I sent out last night. Okay. Basically said, if we can get in, short this spread, the euro dollar, 3 p.m. strike, and only risk between $16 and $20. I got into it for 16. Okay. That's what I sold it for right here at 16. Once you double your money or a little bit more, I want you to take profit. Okay. I wanted you to make at least $32 on there. I had set my order here. I set my profit target. What was my stop loss? Well, it was already in because that's what I paid. I bought into it for. That was my $16. It exited here at 5:30 in the morning. Okay. Literally, I went to bed about right here. I woke up over here. I literally woke up, looked at the screen, and saw my email that I had made money. Okay. So I literally woke up in the green this morning. Okay. risking $16 to make 15. In fact, these are spreads, so you get the $16 back, but you get your $50 profit out of that one. I'm good to go. And again, one contract. What if I had done 2 or 3 or 4 contracts? I mean, if I had risked 3 or 4 contracts, I'd wake up with $150, $200, and not a bad way to start the morning, right? And again, this was our first alert in our new alert service, and I'll explain what that is in a second. Again, overnight trading, people are like, oh, it's not as much fun as news. A lot of money to be made when people are sleeping. All right. Quick question: can the prices be influenced by the market makers on the stock markets? Yeah, I mean, market makers can influence most prices, but if the market makers aren't trading, then there's absolutely, you don't have to worry about them because they're not there. Okay. What do you mean by using spreads, please? Morris, there are on Nadex has binary options, but they also have spread options. And spreads are the same thing. Remember before when we were creating spreads with that butterfly, we were buying 2 of them, okay? Or buying one and selling one. In this case, you'll see there's 2 strike prices. Nadex is actually building the spreads for you. And these trade more like the underlying assets. A little bit different. I actually covered inside of the course. I'm only showing you this one, guys, because our alert service is literally already up. I can tell you right now, the alert service that everybody's going to get when I'm finished the webinar tonight is actually going to be a news trade set for tomorrow with one of our higher probability news trade setups. So if anybody likes news trading and wants to get into one, get enrolled tonight, and you'll see a news trade come out this evening. So what are your next steps now that I've kind of showed you these things and opened your eyes to new things? I want everybody to open up a Nadex demo account. If you don't, I mean, you guys, some of you may already be trading live. It sounds like you are, but if you don't have a Nadex demo account set it up. Install some type of charting software. It can be whatever you want. You can use MetaTrader 4 for currencies. I like FXCM. That's a free one. Get a demo of Thinkorswim if you want. I mean, they don't cost anything. Open up, get in there, start looking up some charts, see if you can find some of these things. And I'm going to give you guys an offer in a second, but I want you to get rolled in the 30-minute trader program. As I mentioned before, I can't give you it all. It's about 8 hours worth of information, and I only had an hour to do this. I try to give you as much about the butterflies as possible, but there's so much exciting stuff with the news, as well as the overnight stuff, that you can go from there. Yeah, you can use TradingView. I don't, but you can. So let me explain what the 30-minute trader course is. It's actually 3 separate training courses. So there's each of these courses itself has its own training. There's a Nadex Butterfly course. That's the lunchtime course. There's a news breakout course. That's actually finished, and that's due to be online tomorrow. There's an overnight trend course as well. A couple other things we're going to throw into this for you guys. If you do open up Thinkorswim, we're going to give you guys a Nadex indicator. It's nice when you can see the strike prices on the chart. Visually, it makes it very simple to figure out, okay, if it stays between this strike and this price, it's excellent for the news trades in particular. We're also going to add you the nightly videos, and we're also going to give you 1 month of Nadex alerts. That last slide I just showed you, this one right here, this was a Nadex alert that I sent out last night. Okay, I already have tonight's set up and ready to go. And when I say 1 month, we're actually going to make it a little bit longer than 1 month if you guys are okay with that. I'm going to start the official 1 month free September 1st. Because we are in a pre-release stage right now, if you guys get enrolled tonight, you'll get an extra 8 days of it. Basically the end of August and then all of September. And if you add up the alert value and those things, it's an additional $448 that we're going to throw into this for you. Because this is the retail price online, but because we're kind of at a pre-release status, we're going to give it to you guys tonight for a pre-release discount of $149. And that's just a one-time fee. You guys get the Nadex Butterfly course, you get the news breakout course, and you get the overnight plus the indicator plus the alert service as well. Now, they are all not online, so if you enroll right this second, you're not going to actually be able to look at any of them yet. When I say that, the kind of tentative status for us releasing them is this, okay? Alert started last night. Tomorrow is the targeted launch date. The goal is to have it up by noon tomorrow. It may be just a little bit longer. But the goal for me right now is I'm going to be up late tonight recording the last little bits of this, but I want to get it online tomorrow by noon. So if it's not, don't email in. But the goal is by the end of business, it will definitely be up tomorrow. The butterfly course will be up completely in entirety by August 28th, and then the overnight trend course will be definitely up by September 1st. I'm assuming I will probably have both of them up by the 28th, but I just wanted to make sure that I could put as much time and attention as each one deserved in there. I will be sending the alerts out every night. There will be some news breakout ones, and I'll actually let you know whether it's a news breakout, a butterfly, or an overnight trend, so you guys have an idea of where it is. All you need to do is on the right-hand side, you should be able to see it. It says the Nadex 30-minute trader. That's the program. If you click that, it'll take you to a website, which is this one at the bottom, the majorleaguetrading.com/30M. We will keep this link open for 24 hours. The people that enroll tonight, obviously, you guys are going to get the first trade, or you guys are going to get the alert for tonight. Like I said, the alert last night, we risked 16 and we made 50 on it. So they've already paid off a third of their training course for anybody that took it live, and I think actually a couple people did. Eric said we had a couple emails from people that were excited. They got like a 60% return on their money last night, so they were pretty excited. And like I said, don't hold me to it. If it works, great. Not all trades are going to work. The news release that I'm kind of setting up for tonight, I think I'm typically hitting it three out of four, if not 4 out of 4 times every month. So it's been pretty good. Now, saying that, I probably curse myself, but like I said, the goal is to keep a little bit of risk in this one, so we can have some pretty good profits. All right. So go get enrolled, and I will answer some questions, and I'll see what I can do here. Can you get the signals you send of all these? Yeah, Thomas, for the next 4 days, basically, for the next 8 days, I'm sending signals out for all these. The goal is to get you guys 1 to 2 signals every day. If I find more than that, I'll gladly send them out to you because I want you guys to make money. But the goal is I want to kind of, and again, it's a goal that I'm holding to myself that I'm going to try to find you guys at least one good one every day. I'm not going to force it. If I don't find anything that day and it's just a not a great day, I won't send it. But I'll make sure I make up for it the next day when I find 2 of them. But thus far, the goal is to get you guys one every day. If Jack has any great setups that he really likes and they match the system, we're also going to send that on this side. And I have Eric as well kind of looking. But for the most part, I think they're going to come from me at this point. Ron, you can sign up tomorrow, but you're probably going to miss the opportunity tonight to get the signal. So it's kind of up to you. If you guys want the signal for tonight, then you absolutely should sign up tonight. I'm going to do the signal in about I'll probably send the email out in about 30 minutes. It's actually going to be a text message. You want to make sure that you get enrolled and you get the text message out. Yep, the signal comes right to your mobile phone. After 8 days, there isn't any other signals. No, Thomas, you get signals through the entire month of September as well. So that's kind of the perk by it being pre-release and all 3 courses not fully being online right now. We wanted to kind of get this out there as fast as we could and start getting these signals out there. So we decided to give you guys 8 days for free, and then we give you guys the entire month of September. That's your 1 month free of the signals. Because like I said, I want to teach you to fish, but also help you guys get an understanding of the type of trades that we're taking in here. Nope. Actually, Morris, it's mixed. The one tonight, I'm actually using binaries and spreads. The one last night just happened to be a spread, a binary spread. The one tonight will be using binaries most likely. So we can buy individual courses or all 3 are bundled together. Todd, right now, all 3 are bundled together. They're not separated out yet. Actually, Thomas, we haven't fully decided on that yet. Most likely, it'll be a 12-month or a 6-month subscription for the alert service. But again, I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to make sure that the signals are, helping pay for this. Like I said, first trade, they're already $50 into it. If you got to pay, $150 or $200 a month for a signal, and you're making $50 and you're only trading once a week, you paid for it that way. I want to make sure you guys it's well worth your money. I really want to make this to where it's a no-brainer. Um, Greg, that would be a question for Eric. I have no idea. Is this overnight trade? Tonight is going to be a news trade, Lorenzo. But I typically set my news trade up the night before. So you can either set it up tonight or you can do it first thing in the morning. Like I said, if I can get the right prices tonight, I will set it up tonight in an hour, basically like in an hour. If not, I will start doing it tomorrow at about 8 a.m. is when you will probably get the news release. If I can't find a good price tonight, I may send like half of it tonight and kind of give you guys a second one with the same trade in the morning. 2 different trades, but same news release. When will that be decided for that subscription? I'm sorry, Thomas. I'm not sure what you mean. When will that be decided for that subscription? Is it coming with any indicators apart from the Nadex strikes? Morris, the answer is currently right now in pre-release, no. We are in talks with a programmer to help me program something because I am not a Thinkorswim programmer. I do have some fancy things for MetaTrader if you guys want to get with me offline that I can give you, but I do not have one currently for Thinkorswim now, besides the strike indicator. So if you already have the strike indicator, good for you. You're ahead of the game. But like I said, you guys will get first access to the new one that we're building too. What do you use base overnight trend on? Greg, if I give you that now, why would you buy the course? No, it's just too. No, I'm just kidding. Um, a lot of different things, Greg. I actually have a couple different trend indicators that I'm using, as well as I can combine it with projected overnight news and kind of like a volatility spread that I use. Congratulations, though. Good. Morris, I use MetaTrader. How can I get them, please? Morris, enroll in the class, and I will make sure that Eric sends me your email address, and I will touch base with you offline, and I can give you some cool things for MetaTrader that will help you with this, because since we don't have the strikes over there. How many hours are in this course? Morris, the Nadex Butterfly course and the overnight course are not completely recorded yet, so I don't know the exact hours on that one. To be able to go through the news breakout course, you're looking at, I believe, about 2.5 to 3 hours worth of content for that one, not including like examples and things like that. And the other thing too, guys, I didn't mention this. I finally talked Eric and Jack into kind of making the learning experience better. We've actually just started, and part of the reason we're in pre-release right now is because we are opening up a brand new members website. We've incorporated learning management software, which helps us not only better track what you're going through, but I've also added quiz sections in there. So after you watch a section, it's not just you watching me speak on, and PowerPoint slides or a chart. There's actually questions that you have to answer to be able to progress through. The reason why I'm doing that is because a lot of times when you're quizzed or you're asked questions, you have to be able to recite that information back. Like you have to answer a question correctly, which means I know that you know the information you're talking about or you took really, really good notes. So I want to make sure that you guys get as much out of this as you can. And we're going to do that across the board with all our classes. That's the other reason why it's kind of pre-release, because that's just coming online now. Yep, Earl, it's an oil inventory trade. Very good. Yeah, Keith, I'm excited. Like I said, I'm finishing up the news one right now. All the slides are done. I'm just finishing the last bit of recordings, and I have one more quiz to be able to put the questions in for. I may do I may do a final test to be able to complete the module. But right now, there's 8 lessons, and each lesson has its own quizzes. Is there any other questions out there? Nice, Ty. You made 148 bucks on that one, huh? See, look at this, guys. Ty signed up for the last webinar, took my signal last night, made $148. So he basically paid for his class in one trade. That's awesome. I love that, Ty. Congratulations, man. Ty, can you email me that? I would love to be able to have that in an email. Yeah, Morris. Morris, I spent about an hour today pulling the Nadex Master Course over there with the indicator. So yes, it will be on the new site as well. You don't lose anything in your subscription. It actually looks even better on the new website, and I'm going to actually go back in there and add some. I'm actually going to break it up so all like 6 of Jack's trades are actually broken into subsections, so you can more easily go back and review them, and actually get asked questions and quizzes about them to make sure you grasp it fully. Is there an additional fee besides the MLT membership that I already have? Yeah, Roberto, this is a completely new class. This is something actually that Jack is now taking as well. And I've been working on it with Eric for a little while. So this is something that's totally different. It's brand new. It's nothing you've seen before. Did the offer disappear? No, it's still on the right-hand side. If you guys can't see the offer, Jose, on the right-hand side, look on the slide right now. See where it says MajorLeagueTrading.com/30M? That's where you get it. Any news for Euro? I just took my first spread. Christian, I trade the Euro dollar a lot. That was what this trade was on last night. I didn't see any glaring news for the Euro dollar for tomorrow, but that doesn't mean I won't find something. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. And like I said, it depends with the charts. I don't have any charts in front of me. So I mean, yeah, there's Draghi is speaking this morning, so it will probably move. I'll have to see what the spreads look like to see if there's any good ones on. But the big one tomorrow will be crude oil. Okay. Whoops. Where did it go? There we go. All right. When do you think you'll have the price and subscription choices for signals? Thomas, that would be an Eric question. So Eric, if you can help Thomas with that one. Here, Andrea, I'll actually go back and I'll show you the exact trade that I sent out to people. Andrea, see this green box right up here? So if you would have opened up your cell phone, this is exactly what the trade looked like. Okay. It says short the Euro USD 115.60 to 118.10 3 p.m. strike for approximately $16 to $20 risk. So if you would have went into your platform, if you would have opened up Nadex, you obviously this is a spread because it gives two numbers. If you would have clicked on this one and hit the sell side of it, okay, as long as you know how to do that, you would have saw that it was a $16 risk and you could have got into it just fine. It's as simple as that. If I can make this more clear, please let me know. But I gave you it's an overnight trending trade. Set it 3 p.m. strike. What risk to take and where you should take your profit. Greg, it's going to be a text alert. I don't know. Did the sound go out? Thomas thinks the sound went out. When was this alert text? This alert was text last night at, I want to say 8:30, 9 o'clock. Andrea, this one, you would have had to manage it. I told you where to take your profit. So if you would have woke up at, say, like 8 o'clock this morning, you could have taken your profit on this one. Yes, Lauren. So this last one, the one last night was a spread. Morris, the alert's pretty much valid throughout the night. I mean, obviously, the closer, when you wake up in the morning, if it hasn't triggered, it wouldn't be good. Put it this way, it only would have went against you and gotten worse and worse. Nope, Miles. If you just get it's just standard text messaging. Nope, don't have to do it. We're trying to make it as simple as possible for you guys. Just standard text messaging. Absolutely, Mike. We'll probably be looking for people to help test it, so we'll make sure we keep you in the loop on that one. And again, you're more than welcome to send me an email and we can do it. Actually, Mike, I'm testing Ninja right now. There's some cool things that I may try to do with Ninja. So yeah, if we got another Ninja guy, then I will definitely probably bounce some stuff off you if you got enrolled. Okay, any other questions? It is now 9:03. I don't want to keep you guys going, too late tonight. Um, like I said, I want to make sure that I get this news trade out at a reasonable time. Not that many people go to bed at 9:30, but yeah, you can always email us at support as well. If you guys need the website one more time, if you didn't click the offer on the right-hand side, it's www.majorleaguetrading.com/30M. If you have additional questions, you can always email support at majorleaguetrading.com. Maybe in the near future, yeah. Yeah, I live over in Annapolis. I'm not opposed to that one. And actually, we've been thinking about trying to put something together live for traders. We originally thought that we may try to do something in Chicago where Jack is, but then we kind of discussed it a little bit more. And since Eric and I both live in the DC area and it's East Coast time, we were thinking maybe we'll try to do something in DC for any traders that want to come into DC for kind of a live trading event. So yeah, we've been talking about that as well. Greg, you know what? Let's be safe. Fund it with $250. That's the minimum. Take the trade. Just do one just do one contract. So worst case scenario tonight, you're going to lose, most likely $50. But hopefully, I can make you some money. Like I said, the important thing is that we learn from these trades. Yeah, we love all making money, but if you can learn to do this, and then you can take 2 or 3 of these each day by yourself, also, that's really what my goal is. Will this show up in my existing dashboard? Guide, no, it will not. It won't be on the current website. It'll only be on the new one, which your access will work on the new one tomorrow afternoon, most likely. All right, I'll give you guys one more minute for questions. If not, please get enrolled. I will see you guys. I'm gonna get going so I can start the news trade for tonight. I thank you guys for coming along. I'll wait 30 seconds more to see if any questions come through. Okay, looks like we are good with questions. All right, guys, if you haven't gotten enrolled, please go do it now. As I said, the link will be open overnight. If you guys don't enroll tonight, obviously you're not going to get the news, the link. If you guys do not see a text on your phone before 10 o'clock, Miles, got to talk to Eric about that one. I'm not sure. If you guys do not see a text on your phone before 10 o'clock, email support@tradingacademy.com, and we'll let you know whether just something happened or you know, make sure that you're in there. So, all right, guys, thank you very much. I'm going to shut the webinar down. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys soon. Good trading to everybody.